Good evening and welcome, everyone. My name is Paul Prasuti, and I'll be your host tonight for our Midweek Oasis Wednesday night service here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. As you'll be able to experience tonight, our Wednesday night Oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in a satsang style expressing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2024 is A Grand Rising, and that's also our monthly theme for this January. Last Sunday, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman and Jordan Danby introduced ideas inspired by their talk title of Feeling Good. And tonight, our speaker will continue the exploration of the same topic. So as we gather tonight, I really want to welcome you. Early in her ministry with us, Reverend Sunshine Michelle invited us to come to the center well. And to do so, she shared 6 C's for us to consider and incorporate. She said, come with a heart of love and tenderness, which she called compassion. She said, come ready to exchange openly, which we call communication. She said, come in friendship and family, known as camaraderie. Come in harmony and ready to share. I'll call that communion. Come in partnership and cooperation. We're calling that collaboration. And most importantly, she said, come in spiritual awareness and truth. And she calls that consciousness. As we move into the program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you tonight. If you're new to our community, please visit our homepage, www.oaklandcsl.org, and click on the I'm New icon and look at the lower left-hand corner of that page to submit your email address. Once you do, you'll begin receiving the Village News newsletter once a week in your email. It has all of the information on what is happening at the center in the coming weeks. Before we get started with the talk, please mute your own audio microphone during tonight's service. You can leave your camera on, but definitely mute your microphone. When you do this, it will improve the quality of our recording and tonight's transmission. So please stay tuned through the end of the service, and I'll be sharing these special and important announcements. Tonight, we have a wonderful, well-seasoned, well-rounded practitioner that needs little or no introduction. We're so glad that he's joining us. He's a buddy of mine, and we work together at the center on the facilities. And he's a very close and dear friend, as well as what I consider a chosen family member. So tonight, we welcome practitioner Christopher Brown. Christopher, as we do with every organized event at the center, we open with prayer. And will you be doing the honors this evening?
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, Paul. So if you'll take a breath with me. And as we breathe in and follow the breath in. So with the next breath, follow it in. Notice how it disappears into the body in sort of a playful way, and it comes popping back out. And we rarely give time to really notice this rhythm of breath, of heartbeat, of the very life that sustains and lives us. And so as we breathe again, we give thanks, immense thanks for this recognition of that one energy that delights these bodies and animates these bodies. And so we take that delight into our service tonight, and recognizing that the evening's talk is about play, is about the power of play, and it's about feeling good. And so we give thanks for this body, the source of these feelings, the source of this experience in life. We give thanks for everyone who has showed up tonight to play together with us, because we will be playing this evening. And we give thanks for the fact that there is no destination in this play. The play is its own reward, and we're humbled by it. So for this, we are grateful, we bless it, we let it be, and we release it by saying, and so it is. Amen. And so that was part of the introduction, the power of play and how important play is. And as children, if you remember, and you probably don't have to think back too long, what did you do as a child where you enjoyed play? I grew up in Oakland, and by the Lake Temescal. So we'd be sneaking off over there with our buddies. We'd be playing in the reeds and picking out gold, the bluegills, the fish. We'd find frogs. We could spend the whole day there exploring. That was one of the many, many ways of bicycling. We used to make hopscotch at school and play the hopscotch games and play on the jungle bars and Foursquare. And I know that when I was really involved, when the game was good, when it was exciting, that life would stand still in a way time was irrelevant. It was just the game. We were having so much fun. It was like we only knew time had passed because one of the parents in the neighborhood would call out and they would yell from their house. And they'd say, "It's time to come in, Billy," or whoever. And that would be kind of the signal for all of us to sort of come back. Oh, it's time for dinner, or it's time for lunch, or it's time. And it would break the trance of this play. Because play and feeling good, we break the trance of habitual thinking, and we sort of stop thinking because we're engaged in the play, the very activity of play. Whether that be dress up, whether that be playing with G.I. Joe or Barbie or whoever, whatever that is, when those times came and our imagination would take us, it would certainly take us. It would take us into presence where the moment and what was arising in the moment was the most important thing. And that is so important today that we drop in or somehow return to those moments of pure engagement where there is no thought of the Paul or the Christopher or the Alice or the Peter. There's no self-referencing. There is only the play. And it's been said, when you're in the zone, that the dancer disappears into the dance and only the dance remains. When the performer disappears into the performance and he becomes that character so perfectly that he loses himself in the character. And I think that spirituality is really all about losing our self-identity so that we can experience what is beyond self-referencing and experience the oneness. And play brings us to those perfect moments where we disappear. And I'm calling that, again, being in the zone. And the feeling is like no other. Because when we're in the zone or present or absolutely focused in a very beautiful way, all my problems disappear. And usually my aches and pains and worries, all of that goes with it. I am left with the immediacy of the moment. I can't stress that more than dropping in out of thinking or dropping below thinking to that pool of silence where spontaneous activity comes. And this is where creativity comes. And if you think about the tech firms and their foosball and their basketball in the office and all the games they play, and they'll ride around on scooters and they'll actually play in the office. Why do they allow that kind of foolishness? Because it works. It's time tested that when you have that kind of foolishness or playfulness, that it stimulates cognitive, all kinds of cognitive processes. That's for adults and for children, but especially for children. So when we think about the power of play, the power of play is it actually transforms us. And there are studies now that are out that shows when they introduce kids in high-risk environments to more oriented group types of play, where they're really moving and grooving and just being active and engaged, that they do better in school, that discipline drops, that they're healthier, that school attendance rises. It's remarkable. And so some of the benefits, first off, you build a certain amount of creativity. Creativity, let's say you're doing storytelling or you're making up stuff. If you're making up, with me and Sophia and I would play like tea, and she'd invite all these characters over, and they would be the different teacups, and we move them around, and we make up stories and have tea and so on. So it was like, she's very good at making up stories, which gave me an opportunity to be silly and to make up stories also. And so we fed on each other and we were dancing in the stories. We're going to get a chance to do that this evening. So it builds creativity. It also builds trust, because in order for the game really to work, there has to be a give and take. If you take the ball and never give it back, it's not a game. The ball has to go back and forth. If you're playing volleyball or tennis or whatever, pickleball, there has to be a back and forth. It builds intuitive function, cognitive skills. But I think, again, the most important part of it is that it feels good and you lose yourself in the process. And I think that's what feels so good. I am no longer defending myself. I don't have to show up in a certain way. I'm just at play. So Marshall Rosenberg, the founder of nonviolent communication, he talked about when he would go into classes and he would say, I'm going to ask you right now, and I've asked this in hundreds of classes to thousands of students. They've all come up with the same thing. Let's see if you come up with the same thing also. What's the most satisfying thing you can think of to do? Most satisfying thing you can think of. And people would start to come up. First off, the boys would start giggling. Some of the girls would giggle too. But after the giggling stopped, they started to get more serious about what really is some of the most satisfying things we can do. And it all boiled down to, and the consensus arrived at, the most satisfying thing that we can do is to really make a difference in somebody's life, is to be a beneficial presence to somebody else, so that we know that we made a difference in their lives. Wow. But you think about it for yourself. When's the last time, that you really helped somebody else out, not contractually because it was a give and take, but just out of sheer generosity, you helped somebody. And how did that feel good? How did that feel? Did it feel good? Or did it feel like an obligation? If it feels like an obligation, that's an obligation, that's a contract. But if it feels good, that's love. That's love flowing in that particular form. You feel it, the other person feels it. It's not contractual, that is relational. And that's really what spirituality is about. And if we talk about the chosen and Jesus was all about love and helping one another and not judging and giving people a break, really having the open hand, playing, uplifting. So what Marshall is saying is, if you want to feel good, help somebody, uplift somebody, say a kind word. It doesn't take much. You'll feel better, they'll feel better, but there can be no strings attached. And I know you've walked around and you've smiled at people and you've said hello, and someone said hello back, and it was like, oh wow, that was nice. The other night, Susan and the grandkids and I were on the gondola at the Oakland Zoo. There's the Glowfari up there. It's a beautiful light display. And coming down the gondola, it's very, very dark, and you can't see the other gondolas as they go shh by you in the dark. And you pass them going up. And either Ethan or somebody said, hello, into the dark. And we heard this, hello, come back. And it was magical. It was like, wow. Then we couldn't wait for the next gondola to go by so we could say, hello. And guess what? A hello came back. And from that point on, we said hello to every one of the gondolas, and it became this hilarious game. There's no end point to these games. When you tire, you tire. But there's no destination to get to. It's not serious. It's a delight. So here's a definition for, see if you agree. A game is a voluntary attempt to overcome an unnecessary challenge. So you're entering into a voluntary attempt to overcome something or to do something that you don't need to do, but it's fun to do. And you do it out of the sheer delight because you know if you entered into it, it could be really fun. It could be exciting. I know that if you think about it, football is ridiculous. I mean, all of these games are ridiculous. They move a ball from one end to the other. Who cares? Except we become very invested into where that ball is on the field at any particular time, and numbers on this big old scoreboard. And we get really excited about that. It's just a game. And some people get lost in the game and take it very, very personally. So that's a different kind of trance. So games don't have to have any purpose. What's the purpose of moving the ball back and forth other than selling detergent on TV? I mean, it's who cares? Unless you do care. And for those that care, this is really important. And they lose themselves in the game, and they can't wait for Monday Night Football. So we're going to play a game. Very easy to do. It's called When It Fits For You, You Raise Your Hand. So you're going to turn all of your screens on. The recording will be wonderful. And I'm going to ask some questions. And whoever gets the right number, the questions right, and keep score for yourself, wins. Okay? So here we go. Some people haven't turned on. It's going to be hard to see Dorothy's hand raised if her camera is not on. Dorothy, come back. Okay. So here we are. So if you get it right, you raise your hand. Okay. And everybody will see you raising your hand. So who here, if you are a parent, raise your hand. Okay, very good. If you speak 2 languages, raise a hand. Okay, wow. If you play the guitar, raise your hand. Okay. If you've exercised today, raise your hand. Oh, good. Okay. If you have a cat or cats, raise your hand. Okay. All right. How about dogs? If you have a dog, raise your hand. Ah, okay. If you've ever broken a bone in your body, that is, raise your hand. Okay. Peter says 2. If you've been married twice or more, raise your hand. Very good. Okay. If you've ever worked as a waitress, raise your hand. Or a waiter, same thing. Okay. And last, have you ever visited Africa? Raise your hand. Okay. So, how many people had them all, which they didn't. Nobody had them all, I know. But how many had 5 or more? Okay. 6 or more. Okay. 7 or more.
Christopher, how many questions were there?
There was 10.
Okay.
Can't remember.
Okay. That's not the point. The point was it was the quality of your listening. That's the point. So what we just did is we played a game. Now, in the middle of that, when I was asking the questions, what was your interest? What were you interested in what the next question was? Did it change your focus in the way you were listening? Just a little, maybe. Yes? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. This is what the game playing does. It sort of ups our intensity level. It ups our focus. We become more enrolled. Now, were you thinking about your problems and what you were going to have to do today in the middle of that exercise? Or were you just engaged in the exercise? So did it bring you more present to what was actually happening in the moment? Yes? Yeah. Okay. Again, this is the power of game playing or play. What we're going to get into right now is we're going to take a look at what did you do as a child? I talked to you about some of the things I did, playing in the creek and so on. Peter's going to break you out, and thank you in advance, Peter. He's going to break you out into groups of 3. And you're going to be in your group for 9 minutes. That means each person gets a chance for about 3 minutes to say as many of the things you can remember that you did as a child that brought you joy. You know, for me, it was, finding a frog and taking it home to show mom, because mom loved frogs, as we all know. But what did you do? And when you think back of what it felt like when you were engaged in that kind of play. Whether it be exploring on your bicycles, whether it's going over to your friend's house to do whatever that was. What did it feel like? Okay, Peter, are you ready to break this out?
Hold on.
Hold on. We're holding on.
Getting people into groups here.
Okay, so the most important point, this is a game, so is to enjoy yourself. What are some of the games that you played? And how many can you remember? And how many of you?
Christopher,
Sure.
is that Grady iPhone 2?
Yes,
Is that
that's
right?
that's Grady, iPhone 2.
Okay,
Oh, hi,
let me
Grady.
change. Let me change.
Hi.
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 I thought it was, but
Okay, so we'll be
Okay, we're good.
breaking out for 9 minutes.
okay. We good?
We're good.
See you later.
All righty.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you, wonderful partners.
Thank you.
Oh, that was
Thank you.
great.
Oh, it's so fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So there was a remembrance,
Thank you.
a remembrance of play. And what was the feeling tone of that? And was it hard to do? Or did it just happen? Who wants just to, Judith, unmute yourself.
Yeah. I love those memories. I love them. I'm happy I could sit down and write a whole story, and say, I forgot, I didn't get a chance to talk about the skunk that came into our basement, but
Mhm.
where I said, Mom, there's a new kitty down here. And she said, what's it look like?
Mhm.
Anyway, I love stories of growing up. I love them because it's not just remembering me. It's like, I have one brother left. And so it's just remembering the whole family and the extended family and the Jewish holidays, all of that. I love it.
Mhm.
We could go on for an hour as far as I'm concerned.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
anyway, thank you.
Who else? Okay, we're going to move on. Susan.
Yeah, I had the fondest memories in Chicago because I knew everyone on our street. It's like everybody knows your name, and the moms look out for all the kids, and the moms tell the other moms what we've been up to and so forth. So like people said, riding your bike and, just playing. And we happened to have a house that had a backyard and an empty lot next door. So a lot of kids came to play there. Plus, we had a basement with a little playhouse. And so we also put on plays and shows. And I just thought that's the way it was everywhere. But it isn't, because when I moved to Cleveland, we were up on the hill away from everybody. So that really changed. But just having a neighborhood that you just go outside and play
Yeah.
whatever comes up, and you always have friends. It was very fun. Back then, I think a number of people might have had a similar experience. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. Quick question. In the midst of play, are there any worries? Or do you forget about other parts of your life, and does it bring you sort of present in the moment? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alice has her hand
Go
up.
ahead.
Christopher.
Alice. Unmute your-
Absolutely no worries at all. It was sheer joy. It was sheer being present and laughing, and just everything was fun. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm complete.
Okay, so we're going to have our next one. This was going to be harder,
Oh dear.
but even more fun. So you're going to be telling a story. It's one of those stories that the grandkids and Susan and I all love to do, where we pass the story from one person to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So someone starts the story. We'll give you the parameters. Someone starts the story, and whoever starts the story speaks for about a minute into the story and then passes the story on. And you can be as outrageous as you want, as creative as you want, or as wacky as you want. And this is going to be the story about once upon a time there was the skunk, the badger, and the butterfly. The skunk, the badger, and the butterfly. And this is going to go on, this story is going to go on for 9 minutes. Thank you, Peter, for giving us those 3-minute intervals. So basically, you're just passing the story on, or if you get stuck, You pass the story on to the next person, but no hogging the story. Leave others an opportunity to make it even more exciting. So
We
you get
are
the
those characters, the skunk, the
Skunk,
badger, and the badger.
badger and the butterfly.
No, it's
Okay.
just what the story's about. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
And the story can be anything and it can go anywhere and it doesn't have to make sense. Okay, you get the idea. This is play. This is that voluntary game with no apparent reason to play it,
Ah,
other than just the joy of it. Okay, Peter, if you'll break us out.
Okay, see you later.
Oh, Christopher, you created a nest of wonder.
Well, I hope you thanked your wonderful partners. Yes. Do you want to comment? Because we're really running, we're at the end of our time, but I really would like to hear from maybe one or two shortly about what was it like when you engaged in that story? Was the quality of your listening change? Was your engagement a little bit different? Did you find it enjoyable? Were you trusting your partner to pass on and off? I mean, there's a lot of things going on in this game. Who wants to comment just briefly?
Christopher, we decided we're going to choke you the next time we see you, okay?
Good, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Christopher, our team of three had a wonderful time and it was a wonderful story. And some other time we'll tell you how it all resolved, but all three of us launched right into it and went head first into it. And it was a great experience and I'm glad I got to do it. Thanks.
Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet. Thank you, Paul. Anybody else before we close out? Yes, unmute yourself.
I was gonna panic when it was my turn to share, but my two listening mates just made me feel so comfortable that I thought, wow, there's hope for there's hope that I can speak up.
Mhm.
I'm
And
gonna
she had the funniest part too. She made me laugh out loud. It was so funny. It was so Freya. It was great.
see, this is where we build trust, not only in other people, but in yourself. Can you trust yourself to rise to the occasion? And if we don't think about it, we rise all by ourselves. And it's amazing. And we don't know where this imagination comes from, this creativity, but it comes.
Yes,
And only every time when we
Yes.
simply get out of the way.
yep, yep.
So I want to thank you for having, for playing along with this. I had a great time. I
Thank you,
enjoyed myself.
Christopher. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Love you.
sweetheart. Thank you. It was great.
And I'm going to send this back over to Paul for some wonderful announcements. And thank you for your participation.
Thank you
Yes,
very
everybody,
much.
let's go into gallery view and really thank our Christopher. Show him your appreciation. That was fun. And guess what? I'm going to ask the question. Are you feeling good now? I'm feeling real good. Mission accomplished, Christopher. Thank you for taking us on that wonderful, wonderful journey. Okay, Peter, when you're ready, we'll put the PowerPoint and maybe we'll take a minute at the end after we're done with the recording and someone will highlight their story. So with that in mind, this Sunday, February 4th, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be speaking to Lessons in Uncomfortability. I practice that word. With meditation, and it starts at 10, followed by the service at 10:30. Now tonight, this Wednesday night was the last of our theme for Grand Rising. And so we'll be moving into a new theme for February, and Reverend Sunshine will be introducing that on Sunday. Next Wednesday, Rev Deb will be here, and she'll be doing a deeper conversation on lessons in uncomfortability. Meditation at 6:30 and the services at 7, and that will be in Zoom. Join our 2024 daily community spiritual practice using the Abundance Book, the 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. Today we're on the 31st day of the program, which is the first affirmation in the book. Follow along daily in order that the affirmations appear. If you don't have it, we do have it in the bookstore. And you can join Reverend Sunshine on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock, right on this Wednesday night Zoom link, at Wednesdays at 3 for a discussion group on this prosperity program. Okay, so you all know how to get there because you got here tonight. Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in United States history. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. We so look forward to celebrating it. The season for nonviolence convenes January 30th through April 4th for 64 days, commemorating the anniversaries of the deaths of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. Please contact Linda Wyman at bookstore@oaklandcsl.org or sign up at the front table on Sundays to receive a daily affirmation in email during this period. She's already started, so if you want to get in on it, contact Linda. The Women's Spiritual Empowerment Group has started a new 6-week series. The next session is next Sunday, February 4th, after service. Please sign up on the events page at oaklandcsl.org if you plan to attend. Our nonprofit partner for the month of February is the Oakland School for the Arts. They are a diverse and inclusive public 6 through 12 charter school that blends immersive, robust arts with comprehensive academics, providing integrated opportunities for collaboration, expression, and personal growth. And you'll be hearing more about them as the month progresses. January's nonprofit partner, the Lenda Foundation, has extended the collection time for the following items: raincoats, ponchos, tarps, umbrellas, blankets, and socks. So please, if you'd like to donate, place your donations in the barrel located in the foyer of the Education Building and Social Hall. And we're going to continue this through the month of February, ending on February 28th. We thank you in advance for your generous donations. Your 2023 giving statements have been processed and distributed. So please check your email, or you may have been mailed them if that was your choice of reception. Also, check your email in the junk folder. Sometimes it goes in there and people don't know it. So check that out. This next slide has everybody that's a leader at our center. Look at all those happy faces, and we're so glad. Those are people you can contact about the variety of services we have here available at the center. Also, you might want to visit csl.org to see what is happening within our Centers for Spiritual Living organization at large. Please visit our website and sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. So right now, in this moment of realizing all these wonderful people and looking at that beautiful center that we have, and how grateful I am we have a place to go on these Wednesday nights and Sundays and classes and gatherings and celebrations, how fortunate we are to partake in this community and in our village. And we're only fortunate because of the gifts we bring. So we're going to just take a moment and think about those gifts that we bring to our center, our time, treasure, and talent, and hold those close to our heart. As I read the affirmation solidifying and grounding these gifts. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies these offerings. It blesses all that I am, all that I give, and all that I circulate. Thank you, love as me. As a reminder, if you'd like to donate financially, go to our website, click that donate button on the homepage. That will lead you to 5 ways that you can contribute. There's credit card, by mail, by Zelle, by text, or you can join us at service on Sunday and place it in the offering basket. I want to say thank you in the biggest way for all of you who donate, and I know you all do financially. And if you're watching us out on YouTube, please consider joining us on other events and coming on Sunday. We look forward to seeing you. I also am grateful for the folks that helped put this event together tonight. First, I want to thank practitioner Susan Urquhart Brown for the beautiful meditation at the beginning of our program at 6:30. I also want to thank Christopher Brown for speaking tonight and opening us in prayer. I don't think we have any ministers in the audience. This is all the underlings playing and having fun today. So thank you, Christopher, for keeping us in good alignment and taking care of us in honor of our beloved Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman, who gives us this playground and playpen to play in on Wednesday nights. She encourages us to come and do our thing here. So I'm so grateful to her. But none of this is easy or effortless as I make it appear. There's a lot of folks behind the scene doing great work, supporting us each and every Wednesday night, faithfully and fearlessly. So I want to honor them right now. Up in Portland, Oregon, leading the AV team behind the scenes is Peter Gum. We want to thank Peter. I've got
Yay.
yay. You can speak that into existence.
Yay for
Great.
Peter.
Right.
Peter.
Brady would say,
Thank you,
hallelujah.
Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
We love you. We miss you.
But he's always here on Wednesday night. So thank you, Peter. And don't forget our Alice's. We have 2 of them booked.
Yes.
Alice
Yes,
Hudson and
Alice Curtin
Knudsen.
and Alice Knudsen. Yay.
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 Yay to both of them.
Yay.
We want to give us a shout out to our administrative coordinator, our operations manager, Steve Carter, for putting everything together. So yay, Steve.
Yay,
Thank you, Steve.
And Paul,
Thank you,
I
Steve.
want you to know we have 2 new ministers, Teresa Gardner and Alina Hutchison, passed their board.
Yay.
All right.
Oh,
Yay.
All right.
Go, Allie.
Yay. Yay, yay, yay.
I
We
got
so much-
Teresa.
Yeah.
Sunshine. Yes.
Nelly,
And
great.
just remember, they got their chops here on Wednesday night speaking.
That's
the
right.
requirement.
You
So
go
we-
get them. You go get them, boy.
Boy,
Yeah.
we bred them, right? We bred them.
Yeah.
Freya, you have your hand up, or you're just saying Yahoo? I think you're saying Yahoo. So as we bring our fun and exciting and feeling good event to a close tonight, we're going to close the way that we started, and that's in prayer. And Christopher, you have asked the wonderful new practitioner. She's not so new anymore. She's in Marin.
A little used.
Mill Valley. She's the 2nd place long distance winner for tonight. Congratulations, Alice. That's why Christopher asked you to close in prayer tonight. Thank you, if you would, lovely.
So everyone, just allow your eyes to close and just take a nice deep breath in. Just knowing that this is God breathing us. This is the breath of God. And what a joy it is to come together on Wednesday night and join in with the power and the presence of the one life. For there is only one life, and that life is God's life, perfect, whole, and complete. And that life is my life right here and right now. For God is so good and oh so good, constantly blessing us. And what an exciting and fun adventure we had tonight, knowing that we are in the presence of the one, that our hearts have been burst open with joy and laughter, and that we are all individual manifestations of the one, exploring our childhoods, exploring our freedom, exploring all that there is. We are so blessed, so very blessed to be one with the divine and to have this community to come together. I am so thankful. I give thanks for all that has transpired, for each and every person that has participated in making this beautiful Wednesday night oasis possible. I give thanks to Christopher for his playfulness and this wonderful time he has orchestrated for us tonight and planned and put his heart and soul in. And I give thanks for all of us as a community coming together in love and joy and laughter and playfulness tonight. And as we take this home with us, we just carry this playfulness with us, because as we lighten up, we go into the grand rising. In order to rise, we have to lighten up. And so please join me in saying, as we end our night together in being blessed by the one, please join me in saying, thank you, Mother, Father, God, and so it is.
And so
And
it
so
is.
it is.
You go,
Hallelujah.
girl.
So it is.
You go, girl. All right, Alice.